Everybody, Paul Canfield, Copper Realty in Waterford, back to you with another the 16,482 things make a difference when you're thinking about real estate. And so this note is out to sellers. Why am I dressed up in this overly warm outfit? Well, it's because it's really cold outside today, and it's snowing right now. We're supposed to get in the below zero numbers tonight and tomorrow, quite cold. And so I'm dressed more for winter than I am for professional showing of homes. But if there's showings on your homes today, if you're a seller, you have a property for sale, I implore you to keep the heat up. Now, that might be self-serving to me because I'm always cold, but point being is for buyers that are out there, when they show a property, if a house is cold, they tend not to stay in it as long. They're not peeking in every cupboards and getting a feel for the house if it's cold in there. And so they'll move on. And you might be thinking, well, that's not very logical. If the house is the right thing for them, if it fits all their needs, why wouldn't they stay even if it was cold in the house? Well, that sounds good, except people don't buy on logic typically. There's an old saying in sales, any sales, is that people buy on emotion, but they justify it with logic. So they'll tell you that, I bought this house because, it's got an updated furnace and a roof and square footage and all these things, all these numbers. It was a good deal, it was a good price. But the reality is, again, you've heard me talk about these in other videos. People buy things for a personal reason. They walk in and they go, oh, I grew up in a house like this. I love it. Or all my friends live around here. Or I can walk to work. Or I just like the feel of all my kids look in the backyard. Or whatever. Whatever the reason is, but usually it's an emotional reason. It's not a logical reason. And so if a person comes to us agents and they say, I want to buy a house, they give us the logic, the numbers. Well, I went to the bank said I can go up to X and I feel comfortable with that, and I got to have X amount of bedrooms and square footage and garage, all this stuff. I want it in this area. Those are all the logical things. So then we, logical agents, go in the computer, which is only doing logic, and you say, all right, well, in your range, there's 38 homes that fit your range of what you want, what you're telling me that you want. So first of all, think of that list of homes, that list of, say, 38 homes, kind of like your email. When you wake up in the morning, or you just simply haven't checked your phone in a while, and you open your email, and there's 26 emails on there. Most likely, not every one of those emails is vitally important, urgent, necessary for you to spend your full amount of time and energy on. Most likely, a good portion of them can just be deleted quickly, or maybe put off in another box and looked at later. And it feels good doing that. Hey, a few minutes ago I had 26 emails and I whittled a whole bunch of them down. Now I have 8. And those 8 are important. I'm going to spend some time on those. It's the same with houses. And so usually when we give them the first initial big list, they don't want to see all 38 homes, whatever the number is, and they don't spend time equally on all of those 38. And in fact, most people are usually looking for a reason to take it off the list, to check it off as in not a consideration anymore. So if they get in there and for whatever reason they go, yeah, this just isn't it. We agents actually encourage that because we say, look, let's spend time at homes that you like. The ones that feel pretty good, that are kind of, you could see yourself living here. Let's spend more time on those. And so I've been telling people this for decades. If the second that you are in a property, you get there and in your head, I'm talking to the buyer now, in your head you say, nope, this is not the one. I'm not buying this. It could still have on paper all the logical things that they need, the price, the bedrooms and all that stuff, but they just go, nope, this isn't it. I say, great, let's leave, let's go. There's no point in spending time in the ones that are not going to be you, that you're not going to buy. And so as a seller, you want to take away as many of those barriers as you can. Now, maybe the buyer doesn't like the look of the neighborhood or how far it is from their work, so you can't change that. But one thing you can change is the comfort level in the house. Make it easy for people to stay there and think about it and picture themselves, and maybe sit on your couch and wander around and look in the cupboards and all those things that they want to do. So turn the heat up. And I know that's annoying. You might think that's a waste. You're not being energy efficient. You're blowing money on a house that maybe is a vacant house, maybe if you've already moved out. or that you're just not in a lot during the day because everybody's at work and school. So you usually turn it way down during the day and maybe you turn it up at night. But I would say that once your house is on the market, it's not your house anymore. It's not a product. It's a product for sale with us realtors. And we want your product looking as nice and easy and warm as you can have it. So there's my spiel to sellers. Turn the heat up, leave it up. Sorry, I know that's annoying. But of course, if you price your house right, it should sell relatively quickly. I just did analysis for the Eau Claire area. There's about 2.6 months of inventory of homes. Now that's insider jargon, which nobody likes jargon. What does that mean? Well, that means on average, take you about 2.5 months to sell your house once we put it on the market. But regardless of any of the averages or the numbers, you want your house to sell quick. So turn the heat up, and then once you get an accepted offer, you don't have to keep the heat up, until it closes. So there's for the sellers that are out there. And then for the buyers that are out there, recognize that even though I just told all the sellers turn the heat up, not all of them are going to turn the heat up. Not all of them are going to be able to shovel off the driveway or the front step. So come dressed appropriately for showings. Wear a hat and coat and have shoes that you can walk in the snow, because we might have to park out on the street and walk down a driveway that hasn't been shoveled yet. That could happen. So we need to be prepared for all those things, because that might be the right house, even though the seller doesn't have it nice and warm and shoveled and all those other things. So anyway, buyers and sellers, be prepared for the cold. It costs you extra money to have your house for sale, but sorry, turn the heat up and don't make it easy for potential buyers out there to check your house off the list and say, nah, this one's not it, let's move on to the next one. You don't want that. So everything you can do, and if you want to know what you should do, call me or your agent. We'd be glad to help. Talk to you later and see you on the next one. If I can turn off